My question is, just for background, I'm a religion student at Baylor University. I have seminary aspirations and married. Me and my wife, we've been sort of watching how our generation has kind of reacted to this Black Lives Matter cultural Marxism thing. And it has us, for lack of a better term, incredibly concerned. Because our generation, everyone that we know, even very solid Christians, are all sort of buying into it pretty much wholesale. Cultural Marxism and the whole nine. And it makes us worry about potentially having a family here at some point down the line. And we're wondering if we were to, if we, stay here and if we have kids and all that, what can we really expect our kids to do in the midst of a world that is hostile to the gospel? Is it fair to expect them to be bold in their faith, and then with the risk of having them taken away from us in a society that gets to that point? Or is it okay to say that we need to be covert about this sort of thing going forward? What would you say is the right thing to do in that situation?
I'm not sure what you mean by covert. I'm not sure what you mean by staying here. You mean staying in Texas or
in the United States?
Where else would you go?
Where
else would you go?
Not sure, honestly.
I'm not sure either. That's the problem because, for example, I have visited Germany to teach a number of times, and there's no homeschooling in Germany. Public education is mandatory, so you try homeschooling, your kids will be taken away from you and given to other people, and so that's frightening. But what that means is serious Christian parents in Germany have to homeschool at night, basically. It has to become an extremely time-consuming. You really have to dedicate yourself to the raising of those children because the state is taking them during the day, and it's an issue, and I think that's coming here. I've been saying for years that as soon as the Marxists, I think that we just need to stop using terms like socialist, communist, or Democrat. Just call them what they are. Once Marxists have the presidency, the Senate, and the House, not only will they pack the court so as to make sure that there's no problems with the Constitution anymore, but they will get rid of homeschooling almost within 1 year of having that level of control, in my opinion, because they know that parental input in that way will be extremely difficult to overcome in the fundamental changing of the society. So, but at the same time, it does not follow that we as Christians should stop having children. Christians continued to have children during the plague. Okay? Christians had children during time periods when a woman would have to have 10 live births to expect one to make it through to maturity. That's how bad things were. Christians were having children when a man could expect to be married 3 times in his life because he'd lose that many wives in childbirth. There have been difficult, tough times, and Christians have always had children in that context because they recognize they're a blessing from God. And they recognize that the greatest mechanism of evangelism ever designed was the family. Always has been. And so it's a calling. It's a joy. I wish I had had more, to be honest with you. I won't go into the details on that right now, but I wish I had. But yeah, since it is a calling, there is nothing that will rip the selfishness right out of you than the first baby, and then the second baby, and then the third baby, and so on and so forth. It's great for you, but we need to have people in the next generation who have been raised by godly parents. It's absolutely vital and important. So, have them babies and raise them in the fear and admonition of the Lord and trust the Lord to take. And of course, my daughter, Summer, does do homeschooling and has done a lot of programs on her webcast, Sheologians, talking about this kind of thing too. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her, but you might find some of the materials that she's done on those topics very useful as well. But yes, I strongly encourage Christian couples to be fruitful and multiply and trust the Lord with with what the future is going to be. Could it be tough? Could it be rough? Yep. But we have to keep looking to the future and seeking to build Christ's kingdom. So hiding in the mountains, I don't think is really the option for us right now.
That's fair. Well, thank you for answering my question. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Jack. Have a good one.